Williams. This is another edition of Now and Then. Now, listen, I want to talk to you about the control of Congress. This is so important. This is a very important subject that most people, all people really need to know, but most people don't know. And I think it is because that the lack of knowledge of how Congress works or how our United States of America government works that we really have a problem with electing or the election of our officials, of those that represent us in Congress. And so I want to talk to you about the control of Congress, the control of the House of Representatives, and the control of the Senate. We really have a pretty good understanding of the executive branch. We know about the presidency. But we really have a problem when it comes to the legislative branch, the House of Representatives and the Senate, and we place a lot of importance on the presidency and less importance on the Senate and on the House, and any president will tell you that it is of utmost importance to have control of the House and the Senate during his or her presidency. Without that control, it will be hard to get things done as it relates to their administration or their agenda during their presidency. So let's go with now and then. Let's go back. We have to go back because we're dealing with some things now that is the direct results of what was done back then. Some things that were done back then, some lack of voting, lack of interest in voting, not lacking the candidates, not wanting to vote for this person, is the direct results of what's happening right now. Let me go back. Let's deal with it. When Obama was president, 2009 through 2017, Obama was the president. He had the presidency, and so he started. And for those 4 months of his presidency, they passed Obamacare. How did they pass Obamacare? Because they had control of the House and the Senate. The Democrats had control of the House and the Senate, and they worked pretty much exclusively on Obamacare, uh, excluded pretty much everything else that was so needful to get done or to correct or to enhance the living, the livelihood of the citizens of America. They just went totally on Obamacare, which was very needed now. But voting rights acts and all of those things, they just left that because they figured, I'm pretty sure this was their way of thinking, that they would have the House and the Senate to continue his administration and get all of these things done. Well, you always have two parties that's running, and you always have a midterm election. A midterm election. 2011, 2013, the Democrats controlled the Senate and the Republicans controlled the House. So they lost the House. which simply means now you have a split government. You can't really get many things done. And then not only do you have a split government, but the margins of votes in the House and in the Senate was so narrow that usually you would have to have the vice president come in to break the tie. And so you really have a fine window in order to operate in when you have, number one, a split house, or if you have control of the House and the Senate, but your margins are so small that you really have to make some deals in order to get things done with the House or with the Senate or with the Republicans. And that's the game that they are playing. In 2013, 2015, it was the same. So they kept the Senate, or they kept the House, and the Republicans kept the Senate. Now remember, during that time, Obama was trying to get a lot of things done, but could not get things done because he did not have the Senate. He had the House, but didn't have the Senate. Remember him begging voters, citizens, to vote during midterm elections to no avail. He understood the importance of having the House and having the Senate, but people that voted for him, they had the concept of mind that, listen, we put you in there, get the job done. Regardless of what the Senate does, regardless of what the House will do, get the job done. It does not work like that. You have to vote during the presidential election, and you also have to vote during the midterm election in order to get things done. Let me give you the rationale. Presidential election, everybody shows up. Obama won not only the presidency, but he won the popular vote, which is very important because when you win the popular vote, they say you have a mandate. But then during the midterm, the people just figured out, listen, we put you in there, get it done. We don't have to come back and continue to vote. Well, when you don't come back and continue to vote, all the gains that you have made in the first 2 years can be literally wiped out. You passed laws, you did this, but then in the first 2 years, you got those gains. But if you don't have the House and don't have the Senate in the second 2 years, all of those gains are for nothing because nothing gets done. Remember, John McCain, when John McCain was voting, and the Republicans wanted to get rid of Obamacare during President Trump's first term, and John McCain came up and did the thumbs down thing. They had the House, they had the Senate, but it was so narrow as far as the votes were concerned that John McCain decided did the deciding vote, and he went thumbs down. That's the difference between votes. So not only do you want the House and the Senate, but you want a margin so you can get things done. Okay, so now in 2015, 2017, the Republicans had it all. 2015, 2017, the Republicans had it all. This was the last 2 years of Obama's presidency, which simply means that the last 2 years he was basically a lame duck because he couldn't get anything through Congress. That's why it was so important. Now 2016 election came about when Donald Trump was running against Hillary Clinton. Let me put a plug. Hillary Clinton, in my opinion, is the most qualified person for presidency that I have seen in my lifetime. She was more qualified than Obama. She was more qualified than John McCain. Certainly more qualified than Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Hillary Clinton is the most qualified person. But because so many people did not want to vote for a woman, they chose to vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was on the campaign trail. He was talking all kinds of stuff. He was criticizing people. He was demeaning people. He was demeaning everybody he wanted to talk about. They had 17 Republicans that was running for the presidency doing the primary, and Donald Trump degraded each and every one, each and every one, and yet and still he still got the nomination to be the Republican candidate for presidency. Now it's just a wash because Hillary Clinton is gonna just beat him. But because America did not want to vote for a woman and did not want to have a legacy of Clintons in the White House, they still went for Donald Trump. Remember the debate, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump? I mean, there was no contest. Just showed him up for what he was or what he knew, and still people decided that they're going to vote for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. Even with Hillary Clinton winning the popular vote, 2.9 million people voted for her more than Donald Trump. That's the popular vote. But the electoral college, Donald Trump had 300 and something to her 2 something. And that's how he got to be the presidency. So now, with that, this is what I'm talking about now and then. When Donald Trump got to be the president 2016, starting his 2017 term, he was, because he was president, he was able to appoint 3 Supreme Court justices to the Supreme Court. And that's the makeup of the Supreme Court now, 5-3. Donald Trump did that, and by him doing that, excuse me, and by him doing that, that simply meant everything that goes on now is going to be in the Republicans' favor or in Donald Trump's favor. And that's where it is now. Now, everything that you see happening right now is because of that 2016 election. Everything. I talked once about the only safeguard that we have right now against Donald Trump is the court system. Until you get to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is knocking down all of these federal judges in these lower courts. And they're giving Donald Trump win after win now. And they're saying that he has the authority, he has the power, he has the right, because he's the president, to fire this and to fire that. And even though now, just recently, they was going to restructure Department of Education, and people start challenging that in court. Lower courts blocked it, went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, yes, you can lay them off. Department of State, Marco Rubio, laying them off. Department of Defense, laying them off. Everything that is happening right now is because of the 2016 election when it comes to the court's decision, because Donald Trump won the presidency because somebody did not want to have a woman in the presidency, or did not want for vote for a Clinton, did not like the Clintons, and so they voted for Donald Trump. And this is the results of it now. People are crying right now because they are losing their jobs. 1K, look at the stock market going up and down. And all of this is because of the 2016 election. Why do I say 2016 election? Because he's doing it right now in 2025. Because everybody is challenging it now, 2025, but it makes it to the Supreme Court, which he has already appointed in 2000 from his 2016-17 election. That's why I say the now and the then, because whatever you did back then is biting you now. Then you come to the election of 2024. Now, you know, 2020, he lost to Biden, but now he argued about that all the way for the whole 4 years. Biden was able to put one Supreme Court justice on the Supreme Court, Sister Jackson. So now you have 3 to 5 still. And these people are for life. But now in 2024, here come Kamala Harris, another lady, that you still don't want to vote for her. Someone told me they are not going to vote for a woman, or they having problems voting for a woman, because what's going to happen when she having her period? Can you think of some stupid stuff? I told them the same thing when they were raising you. That's the same what they're gonna do. You know, people have some ideas as if a woman can't function because of things that's going on with her body. You know? But now, because you've made that decision, now all of a sudden I'm talking to you again and you're criticizing what Donald Trump is doing, which Kamala Harris told you and everyone else told you that that is what the Republicans were going to do. But now, listen to this. They have the House and the Senate. Despite all of the turmoil that was happening in the House last year, they still have the House. They maintained the House and took the Senate. Why? Because people were believing what Donald Trump and the other Republicans were saying. And they claimed they were so fed up with Biden, which did more good than anyone else so far. But you were listening to Donald Trump downgrading and putting everything down Biden was doing and Kamala Harris was doing, and you believed it. The flooding that's going on right now in Texas, in North Carolina, in Mexico, or New Mexico. Look at remember last year when the flooding was going on in North Carolina, and the Republicans was jumping up and down and blaming Biden for everything under the sun, as if Biden could control the weather. But now Trump is in the presidency, and you don't hear them jumping up and down and talking about President Trump. He has cut all of FEMA's funding and all of FEMA's employees out, where they cannot respond or cannot give ample warnings to citizens about the danger that's coming. And yet you don't hear the Republicans saying one word, not one word. If it was Biden, they would still be jumping and hollering. And you don't hear too many Democrats jumping and hollering. You know why? Because Democrats are more diplomatic. They still don't know how to fight. They don't know how to message. But they have a concept. They already understand that Trump can't control the weather. But that's not the issue. The issue is to highlight what is happening, and you seldom hear them talking. They are concerned now about something else. Really, we don't even know what they're concerned about because we don't hear anything being said at all. And all we see is Donald Trump doing this and doing that. Now, the tariffs, and then I'm through. Remember when the international court said that Donald Trump tariffs was illegal, that he could not do it? And then the appeal came, and then everybody is just on hold now trying to decide, you know, what's going to be the opinion of the courts. And the courts are not saying anything. Now, they could make a decision, but because when they make a decision against Donald Trump, he go at them hard and he talk directly about them. But when the thing happened in California with Donald Trump sending in the National Guards, sending in the soldiers, all you hear Karen Bass get up on the television and she talk about Donald Trump. She don't say nothing about the court system that told him he could still do it. Not one thing about criticism of the court. Kevin Newsom, the same thing. Talk about Donald Trump, but say nothing about the courts. If Donald Trump had lost that case, he would have been talking about the judges and everybody else. Democrats just don't know how to fight. They don't know how to fight. What is the importance of having control of the House and having control of the Senate? You can get your administration work done. Other than that, you cannot get it done. And you need to get the American people to understand that. In 2016, there were 7% of black people that voted for Donald Trump. In 2024, there were 15% of black people that voted for Donald Trump. And we haven't got to November 2026 when he is on track to lose the House and lose the Senate. He is doing all of this and haven't even got to 200 days of his presidency because he knows 2026 he is subject to lose the House and lose the Senate. But what is he doing now? He's doing what he's doing, and the House is not saying anything. The Senate is not saying anything. The lower courts are trying to hold him. But remember when he won over Hillary Clinton and he appointed those 3 Supreme Court justices, and now they have a 5-3 majority. And he know if he can get it to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court will bail him out. And it's been bailing him out all the time. That's the importance of voting primary, voting for the president, and very important for voting for midterm election. This is Clarence Williams. This is another edition of Now and Then. Please like this, please subscribe to this, and please share this and comment. I would love to hear your comments. Clarence Williams, have yourself a great day. Bye bye.